Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about the process called as central dogma, in which we'll discuss the major 2 points: transcription and translation, along with the point called as mutation, which is there in the textbook. So, before starting the transcription process, the cell contains the nucleus, nucleus is made up of chromosomes are made up of DNA to gene to nucleotide, and nucleic bases, and to sugar and phosphate. Nucleic bases contains adenine, thymine, cytosine and guanine. This is clear to each and everyone. We have already discussed about this in previous classes. So the transcription process mainly involves the nucleus. The nucleus contains chromosomes. The chromosomes are made up of DNA. DNA contains a nucleotide basis which can give a particular character or protein or an enzyme. So in transcription process we'll discuss about a DNA. A DNA contains several gene segments. These gene segments contains a particular start codon and stop codon. Codons are nothing but the nucleic bases for which we read them in a triplet form. So these are called as codons. Suppose we'll enlarge this image. DNA, which contains its nucleotide bases with 5' and 3'. What are the 5' and 3'? We have already discussed in a previous class. To the next video, I will go into that detailing. So suppose this gene segment have received a message for its protein synthesis. Now this DNA undergoes a process called as transcription. First, the polymerase attaches to a start codon for which we have to transcribe its mRNA to translate its protein molecule. So polymerase can be of majorly two types: DNA polymerase and RNA polymerase. Subdivided into 4 types: DNA dependent DNA polymerase, DNA dependent RNA polymerase, RNA dependent DNA polymerase and RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So the polymerase will go and attach to a start codon. When it will attach to a DNA, the hydrogen bonding between the nucleotides gets broken down by a polymerase, plus the free nucleotides like adenine, thymine, cytosine and guanine are available in a nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is an area of a nucleus where the free nucleotides are present. So In the bond between the two nucleotides are broken down with the help of a DNA polymerase, the free nucleotides starts adding to a particular sequence. For example, as an example, we have a DNA segment to which the DNA polymerase is already attached. Whenever the DNA polymerase attaches to a DNA molecule gene segment, it breaks down the hydrogen bonding between the nucleotides. The free nucleotides which are present in a nucleoplasm starts get attracting towards a polymerase and gets added to one of the DNA strand called as a template strand. The DNA polymerase, when it adds its nucleotides, it moves to the next segment. The DNA never moves, it's the DNA polymerase which moves from one place to another place. So now the polymerase say is over here. This segment remains attached with the polymerase and the rebonding between the nucleotides will appear. Now the polymerase is over here, it will break down the sequences and it will add the nucleotides. Same way, the polymerase will move to the next segment. This will reattach. The bonding will break down. The polymerase will add the free nucleotides and it will go till the end codon or a stop codon, where the same process will take place. The hydrogen bonding will break down, the free nucleotides gets added over here, it continues as in chain, and after the stop codon the polymerase breaks down from a reaction. So now the polymerase is separate from a process. The DNA is intact without damaging or without changing its sequence, and to the another end we have a stretch of nucleotides which is complementary to the template strand. This stretch is called as mRNA, and this process is called as transcription. I told you earlier, the transcription is a process in which the xerox or a copy of an original DNA will take place. So this is the sequence of the original DNA in the form of a single strand called as mRNA. So it is called as messenger RNA. The same process is common for prokaryotic and eukaryotic, but in eukaryotic it is slightly complicated. In eukaryotic, the capping and tailing is added to prevent from restriction enzymes. This whole process takes place in a nucleoplasm, in a nucleus. After the mRNA is prepared with the capping and tailing, it enters into cytoplasm. In a cytoplasm, various types of chemicals are present which tries to break down the mRNA so that there will not be any infection to the cell. So this process is called as post-transcription modification to protect the mRNA from various restriction enzymes. For 12th standard students, the restriction enzyme, the word is familiar, in which the endonuclease and exonuclease are present. the endonuclease will break down the mRNA or DNA in between. The exonuclease will cut or break down the DNA or RNA from an extreme ends. So to prevent that, the own mRNA, the cell's own mRNA is protected by capping and tailing. The capping is nothing but the addition of an methane group, and the tailing is nothing but the addition of an 250 to 300 repeats of an adenine, so that it gets time to degrade the mRNA. This process is called as transcription. So now we'll recall the points. In a transcription process, the particular DNA or segment of a gene will get a signal from a cell which undergoes a transcription process. This segment of a gene or a DNA gets identified by the DNA polymerase. The DNA polymerase attaches to a start codon, from where it will start the process called as a transcription. Wherever the DNA polymerase is attached to the DNA, the hydrogen bonding between the two nucleotide strands gets broken down, and the free space is filled with the free nucleotides which are present in the nucleoplasm. So it makes a chain of a nucleotide called as mRNA. This mRNA is protected by the process called as capping and tailing from the various enzymes which are present in a cytoplasm. Till this process, it is in a nucleus. Now, from a nucleus, the nuclear membrane contains a nuclear pore. From those pores, the mRNA will enter into cytoplasm. Here, the process called as translation will start. So, we have a mRNA which is transcribed from its original DNA, whose protein in which we are interested. So, the free ribosomes and tRNA are very essential for the process called as translation. The ribosomes are of 70s and 80s. S denotes for sedimentation coefficient. The molecular weight of a particular material gives the S as a symbol. So 70s is present in a prokaryotic and 80s is present in a eukaryotic. There are two major parts of a ribosome: the smaller subunit of a ribosome and a larger subunit of a ribosome. The smaller subunit of a ribosome will recognize the sequence which is present to the start codon. When it attaches to a mRNA, it gets clear that this is the mRNA for which we have to translate its protein molecule. The tRNA which contains its anticodon sequence and amino acid molecule. From where we got this amino acid? Whatever the protein diet we are getting, that protein diet gets digested with the help of a digestive system. That protein molecule breaks down into smaller pieces of an amino acid. It is absorbed by the cellular respiration process, and then that amino acid will enter into cytoplasm. A particular amino acid will attach to a particular tRNA. It is called as acylated tRNA or active tRNA. The small subunit will attach to a mRNA. The tRNA whose anticodon will pair up over here. Say like TAG is a sequence of an mRNA. The ATC, the anticodon should be present on an tRNA. Then only it will attach to a particular mRNA codon. We are reading the codon in a triplet form. So it have to pair up in a 3 nucleotide sequences, triplet codon. If it is not there, like this, it will not pair up or it will not attach to a particular mRNA sequence. So a particular tRNA with its particular anticodon will attach to a codon of an mRNA with its amino acid. After this assembly making, the large subunit of an ribosome will attach to the process, and the translation process will starts from here. So now what we have, a small subunit tRNA with its amino acid and large subunit. First, the small subunit will attach to a particular mRNA, then a tRNA with its amino acid will attach to a codon by its anticodon sequence, and then large subunit will attach to a sequence assembly, and the process of translation will starts from here. Now we have a picture for this in 10th standard book also. We will just enlarge this image. The first tRNA which attaches to the mRNA is called as the acylated tRNA, an active tRNA, which then moves to an next segment. The large subunit contains three main points. First is entry, process, and exit, or you can say as an A, B, and C. The tRNA comes from an area of an entry. The ribosome moves to the next anticodon sequence. Then this tRNA shifts to the processing point, and the another tRNA adds over here by binding its codon to anticodon, carrying its particular amino acid. The first tRNA which has attached over here will pair up with the newcomer of an tRNA. Then this tRNA will leave the assembly. So by leaving the empty space over here and exit from the third position. Now we have the position of an first place where the new tRNA with the new amino acid which have a pairing with the old amino acid. The second place is empty, the third place is empty. Now the ribosome will move ahead on an tRNA. So now here we'll get the picture like the large subunit, small subunit to the second place. Now we have a tRNA with a chain of an amino acid, and to a first position we have a new tRNA with its amino acid. This amino acid will attach over here, and this tRNA leaves the process. This process continues till the stop codon. The shifting of an ribosome from one place to another place is also called as a translocation. Translocation means changing its original place. So we were over here, the large subunit and a small subunit. The first tRNA came to the first place. Then the ribosome moved ahead. The tRNA shifted to the second place. The new tRNA added to the first place. The second tRNA will leave its amino acid to the first tRNA, and the first tRNA will leave the assembly. Now the ribosome will move ahead. The first tRNA will again come to the second position. First place is empty, where the another new tRNA will add over here. The chain of an amino acid will link up. The tRNA will leave the assembly. The ribosome moves ahead. This process of leaving from one place to another place is called as a translocation. At the end of this process, we have the mRNA whose translation process is done with the help of an ribosome plus tRNA, and we have as a product as protein. So what is protein? A protein is a chain of an amino acids. From where we got that chain? From a mRNA. mRNA we got from a transcription process. So transcription and translation are both the two sides of a coin. The process is necessary for all the living organisms. The transcription process will give us the mRNA from a DNA molecule or a gene molecule. From mRNA, we will get a protein molecule by the process called as a translation. That translated molecule is called as protein. This protein molecule can further undergo the processes called as primary construction, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. It gets converted into enzyme, or it can react as it is a protein molecule. This clears the point called as transcription and translation. So what we have saw, the transcription process in which the DNA molecule creates its own copy in a single strand formation called as mRNA. That mRNA will enter into cytoplasm where the ribosomes and tRNA will attach to it, and it will make a chain of an amino acids. That chain of an amino acids is called as protein. Now we'll move to the last point of today's discussion, the mutation. We have seen that a DNA contains its own genetic material in the form of an codon. Say like this is the normal sequence to a complementary this is the complementary strand. This produces a particular protein. For example, melanin. Melanin is a pigment which is necessary to give a skin color. If the melanin is not present in your body, it can lead to the disease called as albinism. Suppose a particular DNA gives a particular protein as an example of a melanin. So your skin color is healthy, you will not suffer from various diseases like skin cancer. But by a various mechanism, by a various method, the DNA sequence gets changed. Just now we have seen that transcription translation process, a particular sequence is necessary for a binding of an particular nucleotides in a transcription process and a particular tRNA binding in a translation process. If the sequence changes, the tRNA binding will change, the addition of an amino acid will change, and the protein what we were looking will not become as it is, it will be a different protein. This is called as a mutation. Change in a nucleotide sequence is called as mutation. A mutation can lead to the various diseases, for example sickle cell anemia or the albinism. Last year in 9th standard we have already studied about the gene diseases or the DNA diseases or chromosomal diseases. In the next videos we will focus on the mutation and its diseases again. Thank you.